Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sydney Royal Easter Show, but more importantly, welcome to the Riverina Fresh Working Dairy. So for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to have a chat to you guys about Riverina Fresh, our dairy cows, and the processes that happens and what they need to do to produce this milk. Now I'm going to have to get you to bear with me a little bit. I am losing my voice, so I will try my hardest. Now to start off, do we want to hear a cow joke? Yeah, alright. What do you call a cow that's been in an earthquake? A milkshake. Oh, how fun. Alright, so Riverina Fresh is 100% Australia owned, based in Wagga Wagga, made up of a small group of farmers on the Riverina region. Riverina Fresh has currently just won the award for Grand Champion Milk. So what that means is the milk is the best of the best for the lactose-free milk. Now to celebrate that, when you all see a poster over there on the wall and it says win. Now if you scan the code on that poster, you get one free entry into the competition to win that coffee machine. Now if you go up to the top at the Woolworths store, there is a Riverina Fresh stand up there. If you buy a dairy product and scan the code up there, you will get 3 free entries into the competition. Now the other thing you can do up there is when you buy something, if you give them your best move, you get a free cowbell. Now kids, mum and dad will love it. Yeah, free alarm clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to practice. Now we've got 2 of our farmers down here, so I reckon they're going to give us their best move, and then it's going to be your turn, okay? So farmers, on the count of 3, I want you to give me your best move. All right, we're ready? All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh guys, that was pretty bad. All right, now it's your turn. All right, we ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's pretty good. Well done. So, a little bit, like with our cows, like dogs and cats, we do have different breeds of dairy cows. So I'm going to start off with our big black and white one here. She's known as our Holstein Friesian. She makes up 70% of our milking herd in Australia. Now the reason that she makes up such a big percentage is due to how much milk that she can produce a day. So on record today, one of our Holstein Friesians has produced 40 litres of milk in one day. That is a lot of milk. Now, over here, on this side, we have our smallest breed of dairy cow. She's known as our Jersey. So she doesn't produce as much as our bigger girls, but she actually has a better quality. So when I talk about quality, I'm talking about the butter, fat and protein. So she has a higher percentage of that in her milk compared to our bigger girls. Now down the back of the farmyard nursery, you'll see some more of our beautiful dairy cows. Another one you'll see is a big kind of brown and grey one. She's known as our brown Swiss. Now she got a name for 2 reasons. She's brown and she's from Switzerland. Alright? So they weren't very creative on that one. Now she's quite a big milk producer and her milk's been used for cheese. Another one you'll see down there is she's a big red and white girl. She's known as our Illawarra and she's Australia's very own breed of dairy cow. So we're very proud of her and she's quite a good milk producer and does adapt very well with our climate. Another one that's down there, she's a white and ruddy brown girl as well. She's known as our Ayrshire. Our lucky last is a white and caramel girl. She's a smaller breed of cow similar to our Jersey and she's known as our Guernsey. So she has the higher butter, fat and protein in her milk as well, like our Jersey. So our farmers are going to start the milking process. Now the first thing they're going to do is simply wash these udders. Now if these girls were at home, they get milked at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. So during the day and over the night, they are just out in the paddock so they can get quite filthy. Next thing they're going to do is just simply dry them with a piece of paper towel. Step 3 is we're going to hand strip. Now we hand strip for 2 reasons. First reason is so we can see the milk ourselves. If something happens and her milk isn't right, we can actually put her on a separate line so her milk doesn't go into the rest of the other cow's milk. Now the other reason is what it does, it sends a message to the cow's brain to release a hormone called oxytocin. Now if she does not release this hormone, she will not let down her milk, and we physically cannot harvest it from her unless that hormone is released. The next thing we're going to do is put on our machines. So, I'll get this one out. Oh, we're not. So this round part here is what we call a cluster. Now, you can yell it out to me if you know the answer. But how many teats does a cow have? 4, that's it. So we've got 1 cup per teat. Now I'm going to turn this black button and press it down. You'll all hear like a suction sound. I'm going to put my thumb in there, and hopefully you can all see that toes opening and closing around my thumb. Now that's what it's doing to one of our girls. It's giving a nice gentle massage. Now that suction sound you can hear and the ticking behind me is simply holding it on, and that is it. Okay, we're not sucking the milk out of our girls because that would hurt them. They wouldn't let down their milk and allow us to do it. And I personally wouldn't be sticking my thumb in here 7 times a day for 2 weeks. So on average, it does take about 8 minutes for one of these girls to be milked out. Now for her to produce the milk she does, a few things do need to happen. So first thing is she needs to have a calf. So right now, most of these girls that are here are in early stages of pregnancy. So that's pretty incredible. Now another thing they also need to do is drink 40 litres of water a day. So you think we need to drink 2? They need to drink 40. Another thing they also need to do is eat 9 kilos of food a day. That's a lot of food. Now, these girls, when they're at home, will constantly have grass in their paddocks. But if you see our girls out there on the beds, they have hay in front of them. So we can feed them oaten hay, lucerne hay, grassy hay, rye hay, rhodes hay, all different types of hays. Now, another thing they'll also get every morning and every afternoon while they get milk is a grain feed. Now that grain feed consists of corn, oats, wheat, barley. Another thing we can also feed them is something called silage. Now silage is something us humans cannot digest, and there's one main reason for that. So if you know the answer, yell it out to me. But how many stomachs does a cow have? 4. The cow has 4 stomachs. Now one of those stomachs is called a rumen, and there's a process that they do for hours and hours a day called rumination. And what that is they grab a bite to eat, they chew it, they swallow it. And if you look closely enough at the cow's throat, a big ripple comes back up their throat, and that's them regurgitating it. And they chew it and they swallow it, they regurgitate it to break it down enough to get through each stomach. Now one question we get asked a lot is, they're skinny. The answer to this is no, they are not. Okay, compared to beef cattle, they obviously have 2 different purposes, and they are just built differently. So because her calf is so low down here, and with her milk, she just holds her fat in different places, okay? And that's easier for her to calve. Now all the fats and proteins and carbohydrates that are in her food, her body takes it out to put it into to help making her milk. Now what our farmers will do is they'll watch the cluster in this hose here, and when that flow starts to slow down, they'll kick the hose and those cups will come off. Now you can all see on each side there is 3 red spiral hoses. Those spiral hoses are filled with an iodine solution. That iodine solution is then sprayed on each teat. Now this is simply for the fact if these girls were at home, they would be going straight back out to their paddocks. Now those teats are still open for around 4 minutes until they completely close up. So we're going to do whatever we possibly can to make sure nothing gets up there to cause an infection and make them unwell. Now you can all see our milk line. It's pumping through our milk line into our milk receival vessel. Now come next week, when it's dairy week, we will have 200 plus cows coming in here every morning and every afternoon. So all the cows will be lined up here with all the farmers down the bottom, and that will keep pumping into our milk receival vessel. It gets about halfway, then it drains and follows this pipe out the back. Out the back there I have two 5,000 litre vats, and the milk is stored at 2 degrees until the milk truck comes and picks it up. Once the milk truck comes and picks it up, 2 processes do need to happen before we can consume it. Does anyone know what those processes are? Yeah? Alright, we've got pasteurisation. Pasteurisation is where it's heated up to 72 degrees and cooled back down, and that's simply to kill any bacteria. And the other one is homogenisation. So homogenisation is where it's brings like a big sieve, and it breaks up the fat particles so it's the same from start to finish. Now, we can also take components from our milk to help make other things like pharmaceuticals and even leather and gloss on paper. So I hope you guys have all learned something today that we're in a fresh working dairy. Feel free to come down and ask me any questions. See our girls at the back of the shed and have a good day at the show, and we'll see you next year. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.